Hey, welcome to this relatively easy two-finger style arrangement of 900 Miles. I'm going to play through it and then I'll talk about what we're doing here. 1, 2, a 1, 2. I'm going down the track, I got tears in my eyes, trying to read a letter from my home. If this train runs me right, I'll be home by tomorrow night, 'cause I'm 900 miles from my home. And I hate to hear that lonesome whistle blow. Okay. So that's it there. So there's quite a few different versions of this tune. Everyone is like vastly different. I'm really taking my cue from Barbara Dane's version for this arrangement, where she's playing the guitar and kind of doing this same sort of style that you would get with two finger, which is why we're doing an easy two finger arrangement of this. She also kind of doesn't acknowledge many of the chords. I've heard very different versions of the harmonic arrangement of this. So let's really quickly talk about what I'm doing in the chords here in the when I was singing. So if you look at the sheet music that I provided, it has three chords. There's E minor, A minor, and B or B7. But because I'm putting a capo here on the second fret to do this, and I'll talk about why I'm doing that in a second, we get different chords. We actually get D minor, and then we get G minor. Think about that one there for a second. And then the last chord is an A chord. So those are the three chords that we have. And I could go through and do this way, right? You have, I'll go phrase by phrase, but let me put the chords up here. So we'd have, well, I'm going down the track, I got, and then here's this G minor, tears in my eyes, back to the D minor. The next phrase goes just to the G minor the whole time. Trying to read a letter from my home. Next phrase, if this train runs me right, I'll be home by tomorrow night, 'cause I'm 900 miles from my home. And then the last phrase just repeats, right? And I hate to hear that A chord whistle blow. So that's the harmony that I've written down in the sheet. But really, I didn't want to acknowledge that harmony as much. So instead of playing these minor chords, what I end up playing is, instead of E minor, is I'm playing an E5. Guitar players call these power chords, but it's not a major or a minor. It has the notes just D and A, the root and the fifth of the chord. That's why we call it a D5. Because we could play D major, it has the same notes just with the major note, and D minor has the same notes with the minor note. So, but this is D5, and then when I got to A, I just played an A5 as well, because there's no real good way to hold, D, when I got to the G minor, sorry, I'm reading in the wrong sheet here. When I got to the G minor, because this G minor chord shape is a little bit funny and I don't want to go to it, I can play this G5 here, which is a pretty hollow sounding chord, but I think it works in this way, and it's easy, which is kind of what I wanted to do. So let me just go. If you have this D5 and you have this G5, and the only other one you need is this A there, right? Well, I'm going down the track. Oh, and I was doing a no fifth roll. I'll put the roll up here. Well, I'm going down the track, I got, and I just lift a finger off to get to the G5. Tears in my, back to the D5. Eyes, lift that finger off. Trying to read a letter from my home. If this train runs me right, now back to the, I'll be home by tomorrow night, 'cause I'm 900 miles from my home. And I hate to hear that lonesome whistle blow. So that's it with the chords. Now let's talk about why I'm capoing on the second fret. So we're playing an E minor. E minor actually kind of works pretty well on the banjo because it has the same notes as G major. So normally you could play it just completely open. But because I wanted to do two finger here, when you're doing the two finger style, you're constantly hitting this open first string. So if we're having an E minor, you'd have to hold this shape down. when you play that. And that's kind of frustrating. So instead, all I did was I put the capo on the 2nd fret, and then we can think like we're in D. And I'm going to get to this in a second with playing a chord, or playing a scale. And that makes it a lot easier to do this 2-finger style, right? And I've actually left this 5th string tuned to a G, because that's actually the 3rd of the key. So that works totally fine to just have this as a G. If you have spikes on the 4th fret, this is normally what I recommend when you're playing E, but you could put a spike here on the 4th fret and get a B. That would work also well. Okay, but anyways, let's talk quickly about the melody of the song, because this is where the arrangement comes from. So the melody is completely in a D minor pentatonic. So I just want to show you how to play this D minor pentatonic first, because if you know how to play the pentatonic, the rest of this is a lot easier. So it looks like this. 0, 3, 0, 2, 1, 3. So I'll put that shape up. And I totally recommend just going through and playing this up and down, just with your thumb. So I do this whole thing in 2-finger style. So if you're not comfortable with that, I'll just show you how I often teach this, is if you have long notes, you just get 5-1 between them. So I could play that scale and just have 5-1 in between each of those notes. And if I have short notes, I just get the 1, the 1st string with my middle finger here. So that's the style we're doing. So now that you know that style, I'm going to show you the melody without any of the arrangements first. And I recommend that you just go through and do the arranging yourself from this melody, because you're going to come up with something either identical to what I have written or something very, very similar. So let's just go through the melody. So let's look at the first 4 bars here. So we have this pickup, so we start on beat 3, 1, 2. Pausing there because those next 2 notes are part of the next phrase. So you'll notice the way I've written this is everything you see is actually a beat, right? So anytime we have just 1 note with a line, that's a short note. So on each of those notes we could add that 5th, our middle finger, just the 1st string. And anytime you see this squiggly line, that's just a quarter note rest. That means the note before is a long note. So in that space we could do that 5-1. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play this first line, and on those squiggly quarter note rests, I'm going to hit 5-1. So it would sound like this. So that's the first step. And I recommend, we're going to go through this line by line first, just the melody notes, but I recommend you can look at the tab for this melody and try to do this all yourself. And then if you want, you can go through in all of the single note lines, just add your middle finger between it and sound like this. I find that's often a little bit much to just throw that in every note, so I don't do it every single time. But anyways, that's the first line. Let's take a look at the next line. The next line, starting with that pickup, goes like this. There we go. Now, one thing, again, noticing I'm using my thumb for all of these, and I've actually assigned a finger for a fret. So if I'm in the 3rd fret, I use my 3rd finger, 2nd fret, 2nd finger, 1st fret, 1st finger. All right, next phrase here. Next line. Last line. Same as the last note. So, like I said, I recommend just going through yourself and trying to do this arranging yourself. If you have extra long notes, so for example, in this very last bar, you can see there's just a bunch of pause notes, a bunch of quarter note rests. The easiest thing you can do is just keep repeating the note that you have. So this last 2 bars would just be. Right? Okay, so let me go through and show you what I have line by line with my arrangement. Here's the first line, looks like this. Next line. pretty simple. Now, if you're sitting there and thinking, okay, this is nice and everything, but I want to be able to do a little bit more with this, the next step I would recommend is, if you're familiar with a forward roll, you can go through this and try to play each bar with, instead of the 2-finger way, the forward roll. So I'm not going to write the tab out for that, but if you know how the forward roll works and you have the melody notes, it's pretty easy just to put that in there. Really, what I would probably do when I play this is mix a little bit of these, the thumb alternating and the forward. There are other things to do in this, but I think that's a good start. Good luck with this. I hope you enjoy playing this tune. Okay, till next time. Bye.